few days ago, I tested some irons which it's fair to say are very reasonably priced from Caley. And all you guys wanted to see was a head-to-head from its more expensive competitor, the Taylormade P790. So in that case, let's do it. And let's do it now. Hi everyone, James Robinson here, guys. First things first, I'd like to hit every shot just like that one today. Also guys, I'd like to warmly welcome you all to the channel. I'd like to warmly welcome you back to the channel. If you're not new to the channel, if you are new to the channel, guys, please take 2 seconds, hit that subscribe button below. That way you won't miss any of the great golf related content I bring to you guys every single day. Also give that notification bell a ring. Loads of people are saying they're missing the uploads, they're missing the notifications. If you don't ring the bell, then you won't get notified. In today's video, we are testing the RRP £1,299 Taylormade P790, which albeit is a fan favourite. That equates to around $1,800, depending on what the exchange rate is at the moment, against the £399 Caley iron, which is around kind of $500, $600. So, I mean, first of all, how good do they look? And also, how similar do they look as well? If we compare these irons down at the ball, you'll see that, well, they look, you ever see the Spider-Man sketch where they go, yeah, that one. These irons look very, very similar. The technology in them probably isn't that similar down to the pricing structure of them, but how much difference does that make? How much difference does it make to the performance? How much difference does it make to the feel, to the sound, to the looks of them? Now, these irons do look very similar, but when you look really closely at them, and I mean really closely, there are quite a few differences. But then for that difference in pricing, I suppose you'd expect that. That's gone a long way for a 6 iron. Gone left, right though, left. So in today's video, we are testing the 6 iron and the 4 iron in both the Caley set and the Taylormade P790 set. Guys, hit those comments below. How much difference do you think there'll be for around $1,000 difference? It's quite a difference, isn't it? And also guys, hit those comments below. What bracket are you in? Would you be spending the $1,700 on the P790s RRP? Probably get them a little bit cheaper than that now. Or would you be spending the $500, $600 on these Caley irons? I'm not sure, you know, looking down at them. I mean, that's gone like an absolute bullet, hasn't it? I guess it depends on yourself, doesn't it? It depends on your budget, it depends on how long you've been playing. Or does it? You see, you sometimes do see an argument of if you want to be a better golfer, you have to spend more money, you have to go and get fitted, you have to go and get the most expensive irons. But then some of the guys who I've played golf with through the years, some of the best players had like a pencil bag, 7 clubs and just were naturally gifted or just worked on the game, spent the time instead of the money to become a better golfer. Is that what this test is about? Or are we just comparing? To be fair, there's half a degree loft in these sets. Difference. I'll put all the lofts on screen now so you can see that. Very, very similar. Shaft lengths exactly the same. Obviously, the Taylormade P790, we have a premium dynamic gold shaft in there. We have an S300 105. And in the Caley set, we have, I think, just a kind of shaft that Caley do stick in there. I think it's their own brand shaft, their own brand grip. They're saving money on all the components so you can get irons a little bit cheaper, a little bit more in budget. And I do have to say that looking down at these for the price, I mean, when I did the test on these, a review on them, they were very, very good. That's why we stood here now. That's why we are testing them against potentially, could you say the best irons that's ever been released in that bracket? I think the P790 are up there, aren't they? That's why we're doing this. A little bit more offset and a little bit more blade length in the Caley irons. I mean, that's just ridiculous, isn't it? That's one thing I would say is neither of these irons would be for me. They are more kind of the game improver iron a little bit. I know the P790, to be honest, the P790 shocked everyone because it had scratch players playing them, it had beginner players playing them. Is that what Caley are trying to do with this iron? Are they just trying to cover kind of the mass golf market under one umbrella? I mean, that 6 iron spun at 3,500, so maybe not for me. But you know me, guys, from Yorkshire, so we're going to keep talking money. £1,000 difference in these. £1,000. In fact, you can get a full set of the Caley irons, a full set of the Caley clubs for the recommended retail price of the P790. So Yeah. Right, let's keep going. We're going to hit about half a dozen shots with each club. We're going to compare distance, feel, sound, spin rate, everything, all the good stuff that you want to see compared. That was a misstrike. That's not swinging great today as well, so probably a good... Yeah, I swung great yesterday. Not swinging great today, so probably a really good time to be testing these irons as well for forgiveness, for mishits. How far do they go when you strike them out the hosel? Not quite, but nearly. Now, technology-wise in the Caley irons, it doesn't really tell you much on the website. I've scoured through them. They are a hollow body construction. They do have the plug in there so you can see just how they're made, and that's why you get that kind of hollow body sound as well. It's not a sound that I'm overly enchanted with. It's not a sound that I overly enjoy, but then for the performance it gives you, it's not that bad. That's a terrible strike for the second one. Right, that's 5 shots hit with, remembered we're doing 6, so we'll do 6. That's better. When you get these, they do go a very, very long way. Right, that's half a dozen shots hit with the Caley 6 iron. Now let's move into the Taylormade P790 6 iron. We did hit 1 with that already. We've just got to hit 5. Then we're going to go to the business end of the bag, which is something which you don't often see in club reviews. We're going to test the 4 irons. I think they're like 20... One second. They're 20.5 and 21 degrees of loft respectively, the 4 irons, not the 6 irons. So quite strong lofted. I'd be expecting them to go a very long way, especially if we put a good swing on them. But first, back to the Taylormade P790 6 iron. The iron which, let's be fair, caused quite a stir when it first came out. This is the 2nd generation P790. And this does look sleeker. Looking down at it, there's less offset. There is a slightly thinner top line. I do think the Caley iron is designed more for everyone, so a little bit more user-friendly. But then the P790, we just have the P770 underneath it. We have the P7MC, the P7MB. We have the Sim Max, the Sim Max OS. There's a family there. Definitely a stronger feel to that, and that is, I mean, it's just a joyful ball flight, isn't it, that one? That's wonderful. Spinning slightly more, still low for me. Going right a bit. Definitely feel, you know what, it could be down to the shaft as well. I'd be really interested to put a premium shaft in the Caley irons and see just how much difference they make as well. Obviously that does start adding to the price, it does start adding to the product that you're buying into, the experience you're buying into as well. Dispersion's definitely better with these P790s already. We've still got a few more to hit, but I just feel a little bit more confident at them. That might be down to there being a little bit less offset there, a little bit kind of sleeker top line. That is something which Taylormade tried to do in this P790 as opposed to the last generation. That's a little bit left, is it? No, it's right. Whatever it is, it's a long way. That's nearly 200 yards. Why don't I just game something like this? I say it every time. So remember guys, there's a giveaway going on the full bag review we did of the Caley irons. We're giving away some wedges and a putter. Make sure you get over to that video. I'll link it up in that corner now. And Tom, the clubs are on the way to you, mate, these ones. Honestly, they are, eventually. I'm just having too much fun with them at the moment. That's terrible. Ah, rubbish. Right, last shot with the P796 iron. Then we'll go up to the 4 irons. Get in a bit. So that's it for the 6 irons, and if I had to put them head to head while it's still in my mind for sound and feel, the P790 obviously takes it. The P790 is jam-packed with technology. We have speed foam, we have the speed pocket, we have the low profile tungsten weighting to allow more forgiveness and more of that good stuff that we like. Now moving into the 4 iron, all of a sudden I feel like I could game this P790 4 iron. I could put it in my bag and replace my 4 iron with it no problem, because you want that forgiveness, you want that. To be fair, I use a P790 UDI, the 2 iron, the driving iron, and I absolutely love it. So this 4 iron obviously is bringing back lovely memories of that. Not so much the bad shots, but the good ones. So let's go half a dozen shots with this. I'm expecting maybe a 220 with this, with a nice shot. Ooh, 229, very nice. Spinning at 3.6, which is quite a nice number for a 4 iron for me as well. Again, that's why I would be happy having it in the bag. So the big part of this test for me personally is, would I be happy with the Caley in the bag? Would I be happy gaming that? Blade length looks wonderful on this P790. I missed that one a bit, but it's done okay. But again, dispersion looking pretty good with this Taylormade. That is horrendous. Why do you say things and then hit shots like that? I suppose this is why we're testing them, to see the forgiveness. Sound and feel, everything you would expect from a Taylormade. I don't really need to talk to you too much about that. We all know what to expect from a P790. We do have people now that don't even bother really trying them. They go from the old ones into the new ones because the old ones are getting a little bit beat up, which is totally understandable. One of the things that I always try and do, I always try and relate things like this to cars and things like that. And with the price of the P790, let's call that a premium German car, a Mercedes or BMW. With the price of the Caley, let's call it I don't know, like a Ford or a Peugeot. They get you to the same place. They'll get you to the same place at the same time. They'll probably get you there to a similar degree. They won't get you there with the same level of comfort. They won't get you there with kind of the sat-nav, the heated seats, the heated steering wheel, massage seats, whatever you want, whatever you have in your, I don't know what you have in your cars, guys, but hit those comments below. What amenities do you have in your cars? But they don't get you there with the same level of, I don't know, it depends if you want to be that guy, doesn't it? Or if you're really not bothered. I don't know, I couldn't care less really, but I do quite like having heated seats, so don't judge me for that. Better, a lot better. Right, last shot with Taylormade, then we're gonna go Caley 4 iron. That move there. Yes, please. Right, I'm going to be really interested to see how these 4 irons compare now. Really enjoyed the P790 4 iron. Like I said, could quite easily put it in my bag, no problem. The profiles of them, the Caley actually looks like it's got a longer blade length, but looking at it down here, I don't think it has. I'll put that on screen now. The top line is definitely a little bit thicker. There's definitely more offset on there, but then I can definitely tell as well that there's been a form of inspiration in there. Looks way less lofted, but I know it's not. It's only half a degree. There's definitely an inspiration in there from a club like this. And that's what you want. You want to see that. For the price, you definitely want to see a bit of inspiration. Right, Caley 4 iron. Little bit bottomy, not too bad. Just doesn't have that same, I've gone from hitting quite a few P790 shots now into the Caley shots, and it doesn't have that premium feel to it. But then for the price, would you expect a premium feel? And if you're just starting the game, or if you're kind of working your way towards maybe a fitted set, if you've set yourself a handicap goal and you're just going to have a more budget set of golf clubs until then, do you know what a premium feel feels like, sounds like? Do you want to first start on a set that you know isn't going to break the bank initially, and then set your goals from there? Nice. One of the interesting factors for me here isn't necessarily going to just be distance. It is going to be that level of spin, that level of dispersion. Obviously the shaft actually feels not too bad. Sometimes you can get those kind of, not homemade shafts, but those in-house shafts that feel really whippy, feel really rubbish. And this is a stiff shaft, and it feels like a stiff shaft. The grip's holding up okay as well. The grips are a kind of Caley version of the Golf Pride Tour Velvet, which again, inspired from that. I don't mind that. It saves you guys money. Oh, I've hit that one good. That was like a little knuckleball. Distance is down a bit, I'm not going to lie. Distance is down a touch, which I suppose you would expect with the technology that's, well, with the technology that's not in these. Let's hit a couple more shots with this 4 iron, then let's take a look at all the golf clubs. Let's compare them. I'm going to say now, these don't feel as good as the Taylormades. I don't think you would expect them to. They don't sound as good. They don't potentially look quite as good. I think there's definitely going to be scope in the future for Caley to release a Caley P770 type thing. You'd never be able to do that with the legal terms, but you know what I mean by that. A kind of smaller, more defined club. See, I'm nailing those, and I mean the spin rate's great. The spin rate's at 4 there, which is exactly where I would want it, but that's gone 204 instead of kind of 215, 220. Come on, let's really try and get this one. That's as good as I'm going to hit, and that's a 216 spinning at 3.4 for £399 for a full set. Gets you thinking, doesn't it? Or at least it really gets me thinking, are you more comfortable driving in a BMW as opposed to a Ford? Does it fill you with more confidence driving in a Mercedes as opposed to a Peugeot? I really don't know, but all I know is let's have a look at these numbers and distances and dispersions and see what the difference is in golf clubs. So we'll start with 6 irons. This was the Caley 6 iron, and a little bit of a difference there in trajectories, not quite as consistent as I would like. That could be down to the shaft and little inconsistencies when it kicks, when it releases and things like that. If we do look at the P796 iron, you'll see how there's 2 that went a little bit higher there, but apart from that, the dispersion's a lot closer together. You see the trajectories are that little bit more consistent. Now, if we go into the 4 irons, we'll start with the Caley 4 iron, and I mean, you're not going to be dissatisfied with those, are you, for 4 irons, really, as dispersion and trajectory? Moving over to the P794 iron, and you'll see that it's a little bit more kind of all over the place, actually, so that does go to show that it is definitely the pilot and not necessarily the plane is flying, or planes, cars. This is a golf channel. Anyway, so there are your dispersions. Let's take a look at the average numbers, and you'll see straight away the 4 iron on the Taylormade averaging 209 as opposed to 204. The Taylormade, I mean, those 6 irons are ridiculously clear. In fact, they're all, for the difference in price, you've got to say that that performance is for distance and dispersion, it's really not that bad, is it? What about spin rates? So the top one is the Taylormade P794 iron, second one Caley 4 iron, third one 6 iron Taylormade. So really, the Taylormade are spinning a little bit more, but all in all, they're very, very close together, aren't they? Especially for the price. Now, neither of these clubs were fitted for me. I've put them in as close to specs together as I can, and for that price difference, I'm very, very impressed with the Caley golf clubs. I think it does depend on how much you want to enjoy your golf, how much you see it as a hobby, how much you want to enjoy the feel of the shots. I'm definitely not sandbagging the Caley clubs for feel. They just don't quite feel as good as the forged Taylormade P790s. I think we would all expect that. But if performance is the be all and end all for you and budget, I really can't see anything wrong with these. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Really hope you've enjoyed that. If you have, please take 2 seconds, hit that subscribe button below. It helps me out, it'll help you out because you won't miss any of the content if you rung the bell. Leave a like. But apart from that, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.